Good morning and welcome back. It's me, your favorite PhD, and we're going to talk about how to complete Form W-4 if you file your taxes with the filing status of head of household. What does that mean? You can only be a head of household if you have dependents. So if you are single parent or single mother, single father, grandmother, whomever who has custody and uses the dependent on their taxes, your filing status is head of household. So we're going to talk about how to complete the W-4 form that will match and mimic what your filing status will be so that when it comes time for you to file your taxes, you will not have a tax liability that will be due. In other words, you will not have underpaid your taxes. And then at April 15th, Uncle Sam looking for his point. So we're gonna go into the tutorial. We're gonna follow the same process as before. I'm gonna walk you through each of the pages, each of the steps, and show you how to calculate what your estimated tax liability will be based on your annual income. Okay, y'all ready? Let's get into it. Okay, hi, we're back. And today we're going to do a how-to tutorial on completing a W-4 form if your filing status is head of household. So we'll start with step one, entering personal information. And today we're going to say let's see, Annie is her first name and Orphan is her last name. We are going to do a fictitious Social Security number, 111 dash 22 dash 3333. And then we're going to do the address as, let's see. Oh, well, we'll do 1111 Yellow Brick Road again. I don't know if that's where she lived, but this is what we're going to say. Yellow Brick Road, just for the sake of this example. And we're going to say the city is Atlanta, the state is Georgia, and the zip code 30303. In item C, this is where you check what the filing status is going to be. And in this case, the filing status will be head of household. So we select head of household. Steps 2 and 4 will not apply in this case in general. So we're going to skip to step number 3, claiming dependents and other credits. So let me start off by saying, first and foremost, I don't advise anyone to complete step 3, and here is why. You will claim these credits for the credits and dependent exemptions and credits when you file your taxes. If you indicate or if you submit these numbers or these credits now here on this form, then you're basically going to eliminate what you may get when you file your taxes if you have qualifying credits for qualifying dependents and other things. So I recommend for my clients that you leave step number 3 blank, get it at the end when you file your taxes during tax season. As for step 4, you skip that step, that's not necessary. And then the last thing that you do here in step 5 is you sign the form and you date it. And then you submit it to your employer. As far as the general instructions go, they're kind of self-explanatory. If you don't have multiple incomes, you won't need to complete the multiple job worksheet or step 4B as far as the deductions worksheet goes. I will take you here on the tax table when you look at head of household filing status. And in this example, we're going to say that Annie's annual salary is $60,000. So it gives you kind of an indication somewhere about here, because there isn't 2 incomes, so there isn't a lower paying job unless Annie has 2 jobs, and then that's a whole nother scenario. But at any rate, if we're looking at 60,000, you see the range goes from 60,000 to $79,999. So you kind of see what it starts out as and kind of what the range would be when you're at the high end of a 6-figure salary for a head of household status. So that's it on that piece for head of household. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move to the next step. And I think this part is important as well, because this next step will actually show you how the tax brackets will fall for your 60,000, or for Annie's $60,000 annual salary. So we're going to go over the brackets. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And we are going to calculate the annual um, tax liability for Annie Orphan. Okay. So if, as we discussed earlier, if Annie Orphan's annual salary is $60,000. If you look to the left of my screen, you'll see that they had a household status. Tax rates are broken out in 10%, 12%, 22%, 24%, 32%, 35%, and 37%. So how this works is this. So the first $15,700 of Annie's salary is going to be subject to 10% taxes. So that would be $15,700. We all see that? Okay. So that will be based on a 10% tax. So the tax rate is going to be 10% on that $15,700. Now, that amount obviously will be this 15,700 times the 10%. That's $1,570. Now, the remainder of that $60,000 salary is $44,300. So $44,300. And if you take these two and you add them up, that's the $60,000 salary. Okay. Are we all together? Yay. Moving on. So this $44,300 falls in the second bracket, which would be 12%. So from $15,701 to $59,850 falls within the 12% tax bracket. So we're going to put the 12% here, and we're going to do the same thing as far as the calculation. And that's going to give us $5,316. Those two amounts together would total and equal the total amount of tax liability that would be due on $60,000. No consideration for dependents or owning a home if a person's able to itemize their deductions. This is just straight based on what that annual salary would be. So the liability would be $6,886. That's what would be due, and that's what would be expected to be withheld from Annie's employer for taxes for the federal. This is not a state consideration. We're only doing these examples based on federal tax liability. So in summary, if Annie Orphan annual salary is $60,000, Annie Orphan would be liable for $6,886 in federal taxes that should be remitted from her paycheck to the federal government. She may get some of this back depending on other considerations when she files her taxes, but in and of itself, on the face of it, this is what she will be responsible for paying. I hope this video helps you. Stay tuned and look forward to seeing other videos coming up on different filing statuses and other federal forms that I think a lot of taxpayers have difficulty understanding and completing appropriately. So I hope you all have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.